A game about dinosaurs. That's pretty cool. Had some robots, some aliens, laser guns, bow and arrows, spaceships, cyborgs, zombies, dimensional rifts in space, magic, cosmic beings sent on destroying the entire universe, soldiers from the Civil War, the future, the past, and then mix it all into one stew. You would think you get slop, you do, but it's pretty good slop. That's what Turok is. If you've heard about Turok, it's probably through one of the remasters by Night Dive Studios, or you played one of the original games from 20 to 30ish years ago. And if you haven't, it's okay. Turok is a dead franchise, which surprisingly has a new game coming out. Turok was, and foremost, a comic series. The games are secondary to that. It started all the way back in 1954, that's 72 years ago, and ever since, it's been in a constant state of transferring between different publishers and owners with a whole slew of weird stuff, like movies and books and games for the Java phone. It's gotten to a point where most people don't even know who currently owns the rights to Turok. This video is going to be a sludge. I don't expect anyone to watch the entire thing. I'll put the timestamp on screen if you want to skip this introduction paragraph and just go straight to Turok talk. The title of the video is The Entire History of Turok. Entire history. I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff that really doesn't matter.
Did you know there was an online comic which only had one issue because it was cancelled?
I broke the video down into 3 distinct parts, starting with the ownership of Turok, essentially getting rid of any confusion over that, then onto the Turok Timeline, which is about who made what, when were the games made, when did Acclaim go bankrupt. This will be a summary of the entire video, filling the entire history of Turok, and then finally onto the sludge, which is a bloated mass of information which will hopefully turn you into a Turok expert. If you don't want to watch whatever length the video will be, but you do want to get an idea of the Turok history, just stop watching after the Turok Timeline. That should give you enough info. I put it into its own YouTube chapter thing. Who owns Turok? You're not gonna get one straight answer. It's why I made this video, because when I ask, I got a bunch of different answers. So, I comb through everything. Everything I'm gonna say is what I found. Now, there might be more to it. There's a bunch of rumors and sayings that I didn't include, because they're rumors that I can't find evidence for. Turok was never owned by Acclaim. I've heard a lot of people attribute Acclaim to the creation of Turok and think they had ownership. When Acclaim recently came back, I saw some people asking them if they're making a new Turok game. They aren't, but it makes sense. When you think of Turok, you're thinking the games they made. Night Dive Studios remastered the games made by Acclaim. Acclaim made their own Turok comics. I could see where people would think they owned it, but they didn't. Turok, for most of its time, was in the hands of Western publishing. They licensed their IPs. Turok was licensed to Valiant Comics, who were then in turn bought by Acclaim, and therefore Acclaim bought the license to Turok, and that's where they started making games and comics. Acclaim eventually lost the license and went bankrupt. Western Publishing also went bankrupt. 2 companies, Classic Media and Random House, jointly acquired the assets of Western Publishing. I do not know what specifically each company owns. Maybe Random House handles the comics, and Classic Media does video entertainment. Maybe they swap them back and forth, and maybe they share them like one big happy family. I don't know. You can take a look at the credits of the games. Sometimes they're both listed, sometimes only one is listed. Besides that, I wouldn't know. They even swapped the trademark between them around. Classic Media would then be bought by DreamWorks, who was bought by Universal. Random House would merge with the Penguin Group, becoming Penguin Random House. So finally, right now, in the present day of 2026, Turok is jointly owned by Universal and Penguin Random House. There you go. Turok first starts in 1954 as Turok Sun and Stone. This iteration has no magic, no science fiction elements. It's a plain story with not a lot of stuff happening in it. You have Turok and Andar. These guys get lost and get stuck in a valley that still has prehistoric creatures. For 30 years of the comics run, they never escape. They get close attempts, and sometimes weird stuff does happen. Like a weird monster or an alien crashes into the valley, but that's about 3 comics of like 100. Overall, very tame compared to what comes after. 1991, Western licenses the series to Valiant Comics. They create Turok Dinosaurhunter. They will introduce a lot of the stuff seen in what we consider Turok. Valiant adds Turok to their already established world of characters, so we will see crossovers. Turok Dinosaurhunter is a direct sequel of Turok Sun and Stone, but they did retcon some stuff. For instance, the valley that has dinosaurs is no longer a valley. It is an entirely new dimension, a world between worlds, a timeless land where nothing makes sense. The Lost Land. Turok has to adapt to the modern world. We see a new cast of characters. There are story arcs that span multiple comics. There's a lot more happening than before. The usual plot is that the Lost Land spits something out into Earth, like dinosaurs or caveman, or dinosaur robots. Turok has to save the day. Valiant was purchased by Acclaim during this run of comics. Acclaim was mostly interested in making video games. That's what they were known for. And they just bought a studio that had a bunch of IPs they could use. You know what that means. Turok Dinosaurhunter the game. Games weren't just the only thing they were interested in. They were setting up to make their own comics too. Turok Dinosaurhunter the comic would end. Its story would not be finished. It will be replaced by Acclaim's new run of Turok comics. A year after, the game would release. Turok Dinosaurhunter for the N64 was the first FPS game on the console. It took Turok and some other characters and hodgepodge them together. If you play the game, it's kind of weird. Like, why is there just some dude as a boss fight? For the comic, you would know. But hey, in the manual for the game, they included a teaser for their new line of comics, with a new Turok, a new story, and a new road for us to experience. Acclaim did not give their comic run an actual name, it was just called Turok. First released in 1997, it would last until 1998, with a crossover in 1999. Oh, that didn't last really long. But Acclaim did a lot in those 3 years. 4 console games, 4 games on handhelds, 4 books, a comic line, game tie-in comics, crossovers, and then a little spurt in 2002, and then nothing. The new Turok. First change is about Turok. Turok is not Turok. Turok is not a name, he's not a person, it is a title bestowed upon thee. The story is about Joshua Fireseed, the Coyote Knight, Turok. Joshua was thrusted upon his duty to protect Earth and the Lost Land. He has to struggle with his identity. He wants to be a kid, he has ambitions, but now he has to save the world a dozen times over. He has to learn how to be a Turok. It's all kind of over the place. Introduce a bunch of weird stuff. Bill Clinton is there for a bit. They foreshadowed the end of the world, and then they stopped making the comic. Great work, Acclaim. 1998, Turok 2 Seeds of Evil releases. It has nothing to do with the first game. And with it only releasing 1 year after, it's a great step up. Voice acted cutscenes, larger maps, multiplayer, the graphics are better, more guns. It has the same gameplay, but with some new features. 1999, Turok Rage Wars is out. It is a multiplayer exclusive game. Okay, that's a lot. You can play by yourself, but there is no story mode. It is an arena shooter like Quake or Unreal, but only released on the Nintendo. Turok 2 is a PC port, but not this one. You select from a roster of characters, use a bunch of weapons, and fight on a bunch of maps. Essentially it's not bad arena shooters. Its only downside is that it's stuck on a console from 25 years ago. 2000. Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion. The PlayStation 2 and Dreamcast were already out by this time, and Acclaim was still on that Nintendo 64 hype train. You get a new cast of characters, returning characters look different. You don't play as Josh, you play as his newly added siblings. It is a lot more linear, similar to Half-Life. You can't return to levels you already completed. Graphically, another upgrade, more weapons, like it doubles the amount for Turok 2. Overall, another improvement, unless you prefer the more maze-like and open levels of the previous games. The game also ends on a cliffhanger. Turok 2 and 3 had tie-in comics that kind of retell the story of the games. Not really anything special. 4 books were published during the release of Turok 2. They are retelling of the comics and the game with some key differences. The final 2 books have their own original stories that aren't found anywhere else in the series. There was an online exclusive comic on Acclaim's website that was published before Turok 2's release. It bridges the story from Turok Dinosaurhunter and Turok 2. Only 3 issues were released and it stopped. Each game also had its own Game Boy release as well. They all kind of suck, though each one does get better than the last. So skip all of them, only play the Turok 3 one. 2001, Western Publishing goes bankrupt. This is when Classic Media and Random House acquire their assets. Acclaim still has the license to Turok. All nice and dandy so far. Let's change it up with Turok Evolution from 2002. Add a tie-in comic, its own Game Boy part, and a nice all-console release. It plays more like Turok 3 with it being a linear shooter, a lot less weapons, less enemy variety. The only thing going for it is it has some really good level design. Shame that most of it is set within an industrial city. How very Turok-ish. Story-wise, it's a complete reboot. Turok 3 ended on a cliffhanger, which will never be resolved. If you only played the games, Turok Evolution can be considered a prequel to Dinosaur Hunter. For the comics and books, it reboots the entire story. but that doesn't matter because half the comics retcon and rewrite their story anyway. Acclaim was losing money because their games weren't making money. They couldn't pay up and they lost the Turok license. In the following months, they will announce bankruptcy. So, what happens now? The following year, Classic Media licenses Turok to Buena Vista Games in 2005. Buena Vista Games is Disney. They also went by another dozen names like Touchstone. This is where you hear people say that Disney owns Turok. Also not true, they only had the license. 2008, Turok gets rebooted as Turok. New setting, all that magic mumbo jumbo nonsense is gone. This is a sci-fi hardcore story with dinosaurs. Though generic, Turok 2008 is not a bad game. It's the only Turok game that has a story that you can follow along with and doesn't throw random bullshit at you. Although previous games, you had to read the manual or have prior knowledge on the comics to make sense of what is happening. Not this one. You play as Turok, you're a mercenary trying to capture a bad guy, you're crash landing on a dinosaur planet, go capture him. There you go, story's over. As fewer guns, fewer enemies, a lot of human enemies. It does make up for it with having the best story, characters, best villain out of all the games so far. It also has a pretty good multiplayer with deathmatch and capture the flag and your usual game modes, along with a co-op mode where you and some buddies will do campaign-esque missions. A sequel was planned, but that was cancelled, and Disney didn't want Turok anymore. Though a port was made for the Java phone, it's a Java phone game. It's ass. There you go. The Turok animated movie also released at the time. It's most similar to Turok Sun and Stone, but it's still very distinct from it. It's okay, like a 6 out of 10, a good watch for friends. Unrememberable, to be honest. Classic Media would license Turok to Dark Horse Comics, who would begin publishing the original Turok Sun and Stone comics so modern readers can get them. And then they will create their own original Turok line that lasted 4 issues, and then cancelled. It's a retelling of Turok Sun and Stone with a lot more characters and more wacky time stuff. It's not bad, it's not as weird as Acclaim's Turok, a lot more grounded, but it doesn't matter, it got cancelled. Classic Media then licenses Turok to Dynamite Comics, who makes another comic line. Turok is getting rebooted. This time, the world already has dinosaurs in it, except for North America, and Turok has to deal with the influx of medieval knights and Mongol raiders on dinosaurs. 2015, Night Dive Studios remasters Turok Dinosaur Hunter, bringing it to Steam, Xbox, PS4, and later Nintendo Switch. In 2016, Universal buys Classic Media. 2017, Night Dive Studios remasters Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. Dynamite Comics releases a 5-part series of a new Turok story, again a reboot. Some random dude is transported to a different world. He takes the name Turok and starts killing dinosaurs and dinosaur people alike to find his daughter. 2019, Dynamite releases another comic run of Turok, completely new again, another 5-part series. This one, Turok goes through a portal with Andar. They're lost in the Lost Land, and pretty much, I don't know. He fights like Mr. X, and then summons every other Turok to date to help him. This is the last comic run, by the way, we haven't had any since. Also in 2019, we had a new Turok game, Turok Escape from Lost Valley. Notice something about it? It's not a shooter. Universal held a contest, and indie developers get to make games on their franchises. That's pretty cool. Oh wait, I got it listed. Escape from Lost Valley was ragged on because it's not Turok. Ironic because Escape from Lost Valley is the most faithful Turok game there is. No other game is based off the original series except for this one. The biggest Turok haters are the people playing Turok. Turok Evolution was hated, so was Turok 2008, Escape from Lost Valley. Turok Origins was hated on, and that game isn't even released yet. Turok has gone through so many iterations, it has changed hands a bunch of times, and yeah, most people think of an FPS game when they think of Turok, but with Turok, it really doesn't matter what genre it is, because Turok can be anything. It's a series with some shitty writing and some shitty stories. Let's move on. 2023, Night Dive Studios remasters Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion, and in 2024, Turok Origins gets announced to the world. It's not out yet, so take what I say with a grain of salt. It's a third-person shooter similar to Space Marines 2, made by the same devs, probably gonna play pretty similar. It's a prequel to Acclaim's original trilogy that was said in an interview. I don't know how they're gonna implement that. And well, that's it. It's not out. I can't talk about it. What am I gonna start making stuff up? You play as Turok 1, fighting the evil dinosaur threat, the Iguana Army, and Acclaim's ghost. That's it for the timeline. If you like the video, subscribe. I want to see that number grow. It doesn't help me. I'm like a gambling addict. I just want to see that number get bigger, make it to be high. And now, for the real meat of the video, the real sludge. I'm now going to feed you useless facts about Turok. I left out a lot of details. I'm going to cover every inconsistency about Turok. Turok 2 was going to go on the Dreamcast? What? They were making a live-action Turok movie? What? Noseos, why didn't you tell us? It's going to be a summarization of all the media too, because I know your asses are going to read every comic. Sit back and listen. Welcome to the entire history of Turok. 72 years ago, 1954, the Korean Wars ended, Turok Sun and Stone is created. The OG Turok fans are dead, or in nursing homes. Turok Sun and Stone lasted over 100 issues over the course of about 30 years. Compared to the rest of the franchise, it's the most tame of its content, meaning it's boring. You have Caveman and Dinosaur. That's it. There are some wacky things, but that's far and few between. A fire-breathing hairy T-Rex, aliens crash their ship, pygmies, and whatever this is. That's pretty much it. Weird stuff, but not too weird. It's gonna get a lot worse. Before the time of the white man, Turok and his sidekick Andor were very, very thirsty. But it's okay. There's a cave, and you know what that means? Water. Clever thinking, Turok. In they go. They get lost. It's dark and scary, and what's that? A light? A way out. Upon emerging from the cave, they find themselves in a massive valley. A valley full of dinosaurs. That's kinda it. The first iteration is pretty bare bones. They never escape the valley. They just chill out until the final issue releases in 1982. The final panel of the entire series is Turok and Andor sailing away on a raft. Keep in mind, the valley is just a valley. That's all it is. It has giant steep walls that keep the dinosaurs inside. It's not a different dimension. There's no time travel. It's not underground. It's just a hidden valley. I point this out because in the future comics, they changed some stuff up. And with this, Turok Sun and Stone is over. Turok was owned by Gold Key Comics, who were in turn owned by Mattel, who sold it to a guy. This guy, whose name is unimportant, rearranges Gold Key Comics, turning it into Western Publishing. In 1993, 11 years after the final publication of Turok Sun and Stone, Western Publishing licenses the series to Valiant Comics, who's going to make a new line of comics. Valiant changes the name and setting of the series. If you're familiar with Turok, this is where the real foundation of the series is formed. This is the iteration that added magic, science fiction, and just plain out random stuff. This is Turok Dinosaurhunter. While Sun and Stone had 130 issues, Turok Dinosaurhunter only has 47, but their content is way better than any of the comics before it. Sun and Stone stories are all self-contained and are very basic. Dinosaurhunter, on the other hand, has story arcs, set villains, character development. It's far more entertaining. Turok Dinosaurhunter is a direct sequel to the original comic line, with some retcons. It starts off with a giant exposition dump to explain what happened here. Just like how Turok and Andor arrived in the Lost Valley through a cave, so did an army of robots. Following them back through the cave, Turok finds a futuristic Earth. This leads into Unity. Unity is kind of like Marvel's Infinity War. It was a massive crossover between a bunch of characters from Valiant Comics. It was Turok's introduction into the Valiant universe, and it was set within the Lost Valley. Or, as it's now known, the Lost Land. It's no longer just a valley, but a different dimension now, created by Mother God to be the hub of the multiverse where she could conquer other planes of existence. Turok and other Valiant heroes team up and defeat her. The Lost Land is destroyed and everyone is sent to their original world and time. Except for Turok. Instead of returning to the time before the white man, he was transported to South America. And two cybernetically enhanced dinosaurs also arrived with him, called Bionosaurs. This is not good. Turok must hunt these dinosaurs. He must be the... After like 3 comics, he completes his goal. The Bionosaur threat is no more. We still have like 40 more comics to make, so let's make it so Turok has to adapt to the modern world and have even more dinosaurs appear from nowhere. Despite it all, he does find his old sidekick Andor again, except he's an old man. The Lost Land transported Turok 9 a year ago. By Andor, he was transported over a century before Turok arrived. His grandson, also called Andor, becomes Turok's new apprentice. Now, I said this was better than Sun and Stone. That doesn't mean it's perfect. The whole vibe of Dinosaurhunter, throw as much stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And the comic seems to start and end randomly. That's its biggest problem, is that it has bad pacing. Examples, this is a little confusing to explain. Foreign spies are in America, but it's okay, because every country does it. The problem is the foreign spies are killed, and now the world is on the brink of all-out war, and no one knows it except for the world governments. This is the tie-in comic for the Chaos Effect crossover. I don't know what Turok had to do with it. All it pretty much adds is a big floating thing in the sky. It's not really important for Dinosaur Hunter. Turok is recruited by Special Agent Thomas Hidgen, who needs Turok's help to kill some dinosaurs. Turok goes to fight but gets kidnapped by Special Agent Thomas Hidgen, who's actually working with the Spider Demons. The Spider Demons have been around since the start of humanity, guiding it, creating chaos, orchestrating wars, plagues, any horrible event, because they feed off it. But during the Chaos Effect, they got pretty much wiped out. They're no longer in control, and they want dinosaurs because they are their perfect weapon. And what does Special Agent Thomas Hidgen get out of this? He finds it funny. That's the story of this 4-part special. It's genius, peak writing, 10 out of 10. There are more comics like this, like Andy joined a cult, but then gets shoehorned out of the plot and replaced by a random girl for the rest of the story. Amazing. Sometimes, fan letters get included in these comics. My favorite is from someone complaining about a robot pirate who has 2 robot dinosaurs as crewmates. This is not okay, but the Spider Demon stuff is. Okay, what else is there to talk about? Israel Crockett, the Long Hunter. He's a poacher that poaches stuff. Sometimes it's dinosaurs, sometimes it's a Native American man. He's an okay villain, even teamed up with Turok a few times. Later on in the series, both of them are in the Lost Land and—
Wait a second, Noseos. You said the Lost Land was deleted.
Oh. Yeah, it's back. I don't know, it just is. It's Turok, it doesn't have a coherent story, and it will retcon itself. It's only gonna get worse from here. We start out in the Lost Land, and bam, a village is under attack. A barbarian army is pillaging. They have infantry, cavalry, they even have an air force. Who leads them? The spooky guy who wears some skull. The Campaigner. His whole deal is that he wants to unite the Lost Land, but if you're not with him, you're against him. Turok leads a small team against the entire army at their main stronghold. It's okay, they win, and Turok beats up the Campaigner, who's actually a robot who serves Mother God even though she died. We gotta kill him! But wait, who are you? More than the wizard? Wowzers, this is getting crazy! Don't kill the Campaigner, you say? Too late! Will this have consequences? No, it will not. This won't get brought up again. There's no point of having Merlin the Wizard from Arthurian legend show up. My final talking point is when Andy meets a guy called Lake, who's his daddy, so the OG Andar's son. But he's with the enemy. What will Andar do? Andy leaves Turok to find his father. Turok goes after him, but Turok gets injured and is about to die. Andy doesn't know what to do. Should he save him or go with Lake? Teacher or father? He chooses his papa. But he can't just let someone die. He saves Turok. He turns around. His father's gone. It's okay. He was never really his father anyway. The comic ends, and so does an entire run of Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Yeah, I really love it when stories end on cliffhangers. But it doesn't matter. During the run of Turok Dinosaur Hunter, Valiant Comics was purchased by Acclaim Entertainment. Enter Acclaim Entertainment. They were a video game publisher. They chose the name Acclaim because it would appear alphabetically before Activision. That's who these guys were. Quantity over quality was their motto. They had a dozen different subsidiaries for developing and publishing. Here's a quick view of what they did in 1992. This wasn't even their biggest year. But they were making money, and they wanted to branch out from video games. Comics have a similar demographic. Let's try that. They purchased Valiant Comics and renamed them to Acclaim Comics. Acclaim is mostly a video game company though, so let's take some of these franchises we just acquired and make games out of them. Shadow Man, Project Swarm, a crossover game with Iron Man and Exo Manowar. Oh, and yeah, Turok. This is where most of us started with the Turok franchise. This was the first video game I ever bought. I was 7. Oh, how the times have changed. Turok Dinosaur Hunter was the Nintendo 64's first FPS game. Then GoldenEye and Doom 64 blew it out of the water. That doesn't mean it was bad. It was popular enough to get 3 more games made, and each one was pretty good. Most of Acclaim's catalog was kinda ass, so it's pretty surprising Turok turned out well. Like those other Valiant-based games. Those were ass. Shadow Man was okay, but it was still iffy. This game, in my opinion, is groundbreaking. Most of the shooters at the time were corridor sweepers set inside buildings. This was before Halo. Doom and Quake set the standard and every game tried to copy them. Turok did have some generic parts, but it also had these massive levels which were almost entirely set outdoors. You could scale cliffs, jump off mountains, go caving, swim in water. There was wildlife, random pigs and deers and birds that were just only here for ambience. Very few games did this. The game wasn't linear either, it was set around a hub road, so you go back and forth between levels at your leisure, and even skip some roads if you wanted. The game was loosely based off the comic by Valiant, but on the cover for the game, that's not Turok. That's not even the guy we play as in the game. Who is that? This is Joshua Fireseed, a new character made by Acclaim who's not even in the game. So why is he here? Acclaim was making a new set of comics, a reboot with a new Turok, and he was placed on the cover for advertisement. There's even a comic of this new series included within the game manual. And Turok, he's not even Turok, they changed his name, he's now Tal Set. The campaigner wants to rule the universe, so he's looking for an ancient artifact, the Chronoscepter, which will give him the power to do that. Tal Set has to stop him. If you've never read the comics, some of the stuff is weird, like the first boss is a random dude who comes out of nowhere, no dialogue, no cutscene. In fact, you don't even fight him yet. You fight his car, and after you blow it up, you fight his other car. It's dumb, it's supposed to be the Long Hunter Israel Crockett. There's not really any cohesive glue for what you fight, it's all kind of random. You face dinosaurs and Long Hunter's poachers, but you also have cybernetic dinosaurs. Okay, they're Bionosaurs, all of which were in the comics. Then you have magic sorcerers, demons, giant robots, big green gorillas, aliens, along with a fire-breathing T-Rex. The game also has a pretty cool arsenal of weapons. You start with a bow and a knife, a bow that shoots explosive arrows. It's the same one for the comics, it's called a tech bow. And there's also tech armor. Tech might sound familiar if you played Ark Survival Evolved. It also has tech armor and a tech bow. Pretty sure it's a direct reference. You also get an automatic shotgun, rocket launcher, alien weapon, super laser nuke, and the Chronoscepter. There's a piece to the Chronoscepter in each world. Collect them all and you can wield it. The power, the sleek design, it's enough to make a man quake. This will become a trend in the future games. Collecting parts to a super weapon, not the quaking part. The Chronoscepter can only be used in the final boss fight, where it has 3 shots. If you land all 3, you pretty much insta-kill the campaigner. That's about it for the game. After Turok Dinosaur Hunter, the gears are shifting. We're no longer in the transition from Valiant to Acclaim. We're now fully in the Acclaim era. A new Turok and new comic series novelizations were being published. Acclaim was setting Turok up to be a giant media franchise. Take everything Dinosaur Hunter did and throw it out, but keep some of the stuff. Son of Stone and Dinosaur Hunter have no connection to this new series. Turok is no longer a person, it's no longer a name, it's a title. And there were a bunch of Turoks. The eldest male of the Fireseed family must become the Turok. This dates all the way back to when Native Americans first arrived in the Americas. Carl Fireseed has died. His nephew, Joshua Fireseed, must become the new Turok. He has been passed down the Light Burden, a magic bat that the wielder can pull pretty much anything out of. It's the in-game lore reasoning why you can carry a bunch of guns with you. And then we have the Dinosaurs. The dinosaurs went extinct on Earth, but not in the Lost Land. They evolved there, from dinosaur to dinosaurid. Some dinosaurs don't like Earth and they attack it, so the Turok lineage protects Earth. And then there are some dinosaurs who want to peacefully coexist. This is all slammed right onto Josh Fireseed. He's a college student, he's young, this was thrusted upon him, he doesn't know what to do. And after reading these comics, Josh is pretty much Andy from the previous comic Dinosaur Hunter. There's only 12 issues in total, it's a short series, let's go over a few. Child of Blood. Josh disguises himself as a dinosaur because he has to assassinate the heir of the Amarathena Accordance. They're the bad dinosaurs. But he doesn't need to, because there's a coup happening. So Josh saves the heir, and together they come to respect each other. And maybe, in the future, they will stop this war between the dinosaurs and the Turok lineage. This is never brought up again. In Spring Break in the Lost Land, Josh meets the campaigner. The campaigner is completely different from the one seen in Turok Dinosaur Hunter, though in a cool change, the campaigners are mirrors of the Turok lineage. Just like how there are generations of Turoks to protect Earth, there's a lineage of campaigners who reign terror over the Lost Land. This is never brought up again. We do see Carl Fireseed again, even though he's dead. We get an exposition dump here. Time does not matter in the Lost Land. Turoks from past and future all exist at the same time doing their own thing. Trying to piece together when something has happened in Turok is futile, because it kinda all happens at the same time. The final story arc, Josh has a monocle thingy that lets him see dinosaurs who are disguised as humans. And as he's watching the news, Bill Clinton kinda looks reptilian. Josh attacks the president and turns out it's a body double, so he attacks Air Force One where the real president is. He exposes it to be a dinosaur and congrats. Nice work, Turok. He goes home and gets attacked by a mysterious warrior. Oh, it just turns out to be his sister, and she's a little angry. Let's go into our neighbor's house to get it all sorted out. Oh, and yeah, Bill Clinton's here. He's just hanging out. Exposition dump. The Lost Land is dying. It's all held together by the Primogen. He's full of energy and he's about to die. When he does, the Lost Land is gonna go boom. So, this girl called Adon asks everyone for help, so they can open a massive hole in space to combine the Lost Land with Earth. This will just, kill a few billion people. Josh, understandably, does not like that, so he travels to Galliana, which is just another name for the Lost Land. It's interchangeable. Later on, it will mean different things. He goes to the city of Forever Light, the only city where people of all races can come together and live peacefully. He meets Adon, who tries to convince him what they're doing is good. He then destroys a contraption and then leaves. He goes home and what? He got someone pregnant? Josh, you sly dog. We just have to wait until September to see what happens next. The comic ends there. You get a Shadow Man crossover where Josh's roommate loses his virginity. That's about it. There are more comics that coincide with the future games, but they aren't a continuation of the series. Sorry, Josh fans, you will never see how the pregnant girlfriend arc ends. December 1998. Another video game for the Nintendo 64 has been released. Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. We already have Forsaken and Quake 64. The South Park game will release 2 days after this. Turok 2 is a massive improvement on the first game. Better graphics, more enemy variety, the animations have been upgraded, there's more weapons and they're crazier than before. The roads aren't just a jungle with slight variations now, and we have dialogue. Seeds of Evil, though it's based off the comics, doesn't line up with them. Think of it as its own thing. We start with Joshua meeting Adon for the first time. The Primogen has awoken and he's trying to leave the Lost Land. Doing so would destroy it. He's gathered an army of minions to destroy various energy pylons around the Lost Land that keep him trapped. We can't let that happen. Like in the first game, it's based around a hub road where you collect keys. It adds backtracking though, because now you gather talismans which give you certain abilities, like swimming in toxic water or jumping over large gaps. There are also parts to collect in Oblivion arenas. Who are these strange guys? I don't know, but they give us parts to the nuke, the super cool powerful weapon that you can build. The nuke kinda sucks. You fight dinosaurs who have teamed up with the Primogen. Dinosaurs are now genetically engineered monsters. Even though the comics say they are just evolved dinosaurs, they contradict each other. If we don't count the dinosaurs, Turok 2 has fewer dinosaurs than the first game, only having a raptor and a tiny raptor, though it does have a lot more enemy selections. We have undead monsters from Shadow Man, Blind Cyclops, Cyclopses, Cyclopi, the Fireborn who fire dinosaurs. Returning enemies also get fleshed out. We have like 3 different types of purlins from the first game, and those blue aliens are now insectoid aliens with a whole ecosystem down their hive to destroy. The weapons have been doubled. You got flamethrowers, a tranquilizer dart gun, a mine launcher, torpedoes, a shotgun that when shot the bullets bounce around, a buzzsaw that comes back to you after you throw it, and how can I forget the cerebral bore? Look at this thing. What even is it? Kinda looks like a Neither from Halo. You look at an enemy, shoot it. Keep your crosshair on your target as the bullet homes in on the enemy. Cerebral, of or relating to the brain or cranium. Bore, a hole or passage made by or as if by use of a drill. And my personal favorite, you get to ride a Triceratops with a mounted gun. The levels are better, the guns are better, the boss fights are better. You can't just run around in a circle now. You have to jump and sometimes dodge stuff. The entire game culminates with the Primogen. He throws bombs at you and you just shoot him a bunch. There you go, game over. There are 2 endings that are pretty much identical to each other. But what's that, Adon? There's still something out there? Something that was working against us? We'll find out more in Turok 3. Turok 2 added a multiplayer mode. It's multiplayer. You can play as Gant though. Remember him from that one scene in the comic? He was cut out and intended as a boss fight. This is his only way to live on. It's a standard arena shooter multiplayer. The maps are kind of hit or miss, and they have some shit names. What's your favorite map? I love Town 4! I prefer Town 7. Last year, Turok 2 Rock Match released by Severman. It's a free Turok 2 mod on Steam. It's a remaster of the PC port of Turok 2, some differences with Night Dives and N64 remaster, Mostly, if you want to play Turok 2 multiplayer, you want to play Rock Match. There is also the Turok 2 co-op mod by Behemoth Programmer. Play the campaign with up to 16 players, that's pretty cool. There's also the rumored Dreamcast port of Turok 2. No footage or images exist, you only can find some articles from 2000 mentioning it. Recently, a YouTuber found a Turok 2 disc in a group of Dreamcast prototypes. Is this it? No, it was just art assets. I've heard that there might not even be an actual Dreamcast port, that Acclaim executives made it up to draw interest. It's Acclaim, so that's believable. If you like the multiplayer, well, we made a game just for you. It's only multiplayer. It's the year 1999, and the third Turok game has came out. Turok 3. Oh, wait, no. Turok Rage Wars. It's not a sequel, it's its own thing. The story. For a millennium, battles have been waged over the Light Burden, and now it's your turn to fight in the Rage Wars. There's no campaign, no story mode. You can play arena matches either against bots or with friends. It's like Quake 3 or Unreal Tournament on the N64, and they never gave it a PC port. Problems. It's not online, and you only have up to 4 total players. The worst part, it's not a bad game. If it was on PC, I would imagine it would have had a lot more relevance. Rage Wars mostly has the same weapons from Turok 2, but adds more of them, and it separates weapons into different categories, red, blue, and green, and you can't use them all. For instance, some characters can only use some red weapons and maybe some green weapons, while other characters can use every weapon. We have a Warhammer, boomerangs, a chest burster, it bursts chests, inflator, and it's not a fetish, it makes people go pop. Okay, it could be a fetish. Well, let's note that down. You can also get upgrades for these weapons as you complete more levels. The assault rifle starts off as a single shotgun, it kinda sucks, until you unlock the rapid fire mode. You choose one of 3 characters to play as. If you beat every arena map they have, you unlock a new character. As you continue, it gets harder. For instance, the starting challenges are like, you have 10 lives to kill 1 enemy, and then when you get further in, kill 20 enemies with 1 life. There's only 4 game modes: Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, and Monkey Tag. I played these by myself, I have no friends. CTF and Monkey Tag also suck without any real players. Capture the Flag, you pick it up and score it. Bots do not care you have the flag, and you can score all the points you need in about 10 seconds. Monkey Tag, a random person is turned into a monkey. Sometimes they turn into a chicken, but they have to walk to a glowing pad to go back to normal, and then someone else turns into a monkey. To score points, you gotta kill whoever's currently the monkey. The problem is that they have to go somewhere, and keep in mind, you're one shot when you're in monkey mode, so you just camp on the glowing pad, wait for them to come, kill them, and repeat until you win. I'm sure with real players these are fun, but they're kinda ass with bots. The maps though are actually really good, and I think they still hold up. I'm a Halo player. I like Call of Duty. I know bangers. Spirit Temple is a banger. You can swim on the ceiling, that's awesome. And a lot of these maps have nooks and crannies, and they have a lot of verticality that's not seen in games today. My favorite, Starlight, a chill, wormlet space map. Top 10 smoke spots in gaming. Number 10, Starlight. The final boss of Rage Wars that every character fights is Tao Ce, the guy from the comics, the novels, the guy you play as in Dinosaur Hunter. He's called the first Turok, even though in the comics it would say that's Pao Seg Nasa Queen. Maybe they didn't like that name. Turok 3. Turok 3. Turok. It's finally time we talk about the third game. Well, it's a 7th game in the series. Every game so far is a Game Boy port. We'll talk about them soon. Turok 3 is a sequel to Turok 2. Pretty hard to wrap your mind around, I know. Josh had a sister, Allison, who had a big role to play in some of the novels based on the comics. He also had a little brother, Clay. I'm editing right now, I just realized Clay is his nephew, not his little brother. I'm sorry everybody, I'm wrong, I'm a fake Turok fan, please stop watching the video. They were both removed and replaced with Danielle and Joseph. Josh gets killed by some monster dudes from Turok 2, and that's where our story starts. We need a new Turok. Who gets to be it? Adon, your opinion? Oh, you look different. Some of the designs have changed. I was told that the designer Jeff Gomez left Acclaim and took his work with him over a lawsuit. I can't find any evidence for it, so take that with a grain of salt. The only thing I found was on the Acclaim website, they had a page saying, oh, we're sorry, we forgot to credit him. but it's not saying that he actually owns the designs, so I couldn't find anything that could confirm that. You get to pick who you play as, either Danny or Joseph. Only one gets to be Turok though, not both. Gameplay wise, not much of a difference. They do get different weapons and sometimes the level changes. I'm going through this building, well I'm going to go over it. That's about it. We got normal weapons like the bow, but then you get an upgraded variant like the tech bow or the storm bow depending on who you play as. Danny gets a better weapons, just saying. Turok 3 uses the Turok 2 weapons, but with the added variants. Would have been nice to see some of the Rage War weapons carried over. We do get the napalm launcher, that sucks compared to anything else. We can't get everything nice. The biggest upgrade is for the assault rifle. It either becomes a sniper rifle or the minigun. The minigun is better, therefore Danny is better. If you beat the game as both characters, you can play as Joshua. You can use every weapon, so he's the best. I love you, Joshy. Way before the Lost Land was even made, we have Oblivion. It's an entity that eats anything it comes into contact with, feeding on the energy of the dead. The Primogen leaves his own universe, destroying it, and somehow Oblivion got carried over. However, it's been torn apart and severely weakened. Oblivion wants the power to jump between dimensions and eat everything, and needs the light burden to do that. He can also mind control and influence people, because, you know, we need a reason to fight stuff. Earth, you got sci-fi robots, Oblivion spawn, it's the apocalypse. It's pretty cool to go through an urban futuristic environment in a Turok game. Level 2 is literally just a GoldenEye level. Third world, we enter the Lost Land, and it's great. We're in a junkyard, we have crashed planes, junk from other universes is here, a giant dam that you can flood, and it ends with a woodland mansion from Minecraft. And my favorite level, the Lost Land. Look familiar? It's a recreation of the opening level from the first game. You replay most of the hub world from Dinosaur Hunter, and it ends with a bunch of Fireborn. Flesh Eater Fortress, it's a corridor sweep. As the God of the Ride, very similar to the one in Halo 2, came out 4 years previously too. Nice work, Bungie, stealing from Turok 3. Shame on you. You can also build the PSG. It shoots black holes and has infinite ammo. Oh, and the final boss is Oblivion. The ultimate evil is now dead. Wait, we have to fight evil Josh. And the cutscene to end things. Adon can still save Josh. She loves him. Her masters say no, but she must. She abandons her duty and leaves. Wait, who? Yavri? What? I can't wait for Turok 4 to finish this cliffhanger. Oh, wait, they rebooted the franchise again after this? Oh. Before we end things for Turok 3, I want to talk about Revenge of Oblivion by Father of Turok. It's a really ambitious mod that pretty much combines everything into a mashup. You have enemies from every game here. Like, for instance, the robots from Turok 1 have been recolored into police robots, and you like insult like an entire town with them with you. You have like troops. It's a really awesome mod. It's really like I'm repeating myself, but it's ambitious, a little bit chaotic, kind of like some stuff just placed randomly. There's power-ups. You can dual-wield weapons. There's swords. Like, I tried to use cheats like fly around, skip levels, and I couldn't even get to everything. It's really awesome. Check it out. Turok 2 and 3 both had tie-in comics. They're both retelling the games. Turok 3's is exactly the same, but Turok 2 has some differences. For instance, Josh's roommate is here. In the comics, he's a sidekick but got shafted in the game. We learn about the origin of the Primogen. He's not from here. He's from a different universe. He accidentally created the Big Bang. Doing so erased his own universe, made a new one, and the Lost Land was created. The problem? He's ready to keep repeating that process until he recreates a new universe that is identical to his original one. He just wants to go home. Josh has a part of it being the light burden, which contains some energy from the original universe. Josh lets a Primogen crawl into his bag. Same goal as the game, instead they don't fight. It also means the Primogen is in his bag. Josh is carrying him around. Have a little Pokemon battle with him. Oh, silly me, I forgot one thing. The online exclusive comics that bridge the gap between Dinosaur Hunter and Seeds of Evil. So, Talset just killed the campaigner, and he's going to throw the Chronoscepter into a volcano. Doing so will awaken the Primogen. Go Josh, go! Oh, the comic series was never finished? Let's just move on. I don't see why, so far, every Turok comic just ends. Acclaim didn't even go bankrupt yet. They just sucked at writing these. If you're interested, there's a mod for Turok Dinosaur Hunter made by a Behemoth programmer, which explored how this comic would have turned out. I recommend it. It's pretty much a sequel to Dinosaur Hunter in its own right. We also have the Game Boy games. Each Turok game has one. They're all side-scrolling platformers. Story-wise, you fight dinosaurs. Well, that's it. It's always dinosaurs in each game. That's the main threat. Each one is better than the last, so just play Turok 3 on the Game Boy. The rest of them are kinda ass. Rage Wars was okay. During the time of Turok 2, 4 books have been written by Michael Teitelbaum. I'm gonna summarize them to you, because I know you're not gonna read them, you're lazy, and let's be honest, you want to hear cute, handsome Noseos read them to you. It's okay. I love you too. Book 1 is a retelling of the Acclaim Comics. There are some differences. Joshua's a little younger, he's in high school instead of college. Carl Fireseed is injured by a group of Fireborn instead of cancer, and it puts a much larger focus onto his sister Allison. Instead of the Emerald 3 in accordance being the primary threat, it's a Primogen. Take the second comic, Spring Break in the Lost Land, where Josh and friends get lost in the Lost Land. That's the first half of the book. Josh, Barry, and Allison walk around, encounter stuff from the game, and it leads to Josh saving a village of the things. Their power totem was stolen, and like in the game, there are energy pylons that need to be protected, otherwise the Primogen is free. They meet Adon, who lore dumps onto Josh, and off they go to save the pylons. One of them is in the campaigner's arena. You know the warlord from the comic? If Josh can kill 4 opponents, he can take the pylon. Josh defeats them, but he's not killing them, only making them surrender. This pisses off the campaigner. In the final fight, Josh has to kill the campaigner, and if he doesn't, the guard will kill Allison and Barry. Who wins? I don't know, the book ends there. Book 2, Seeds of Doom. Josh defeats the campaigner but doesn't kill him. He lets the prisoners do it. Also, some guy from the Civil War stops Josh and claims that Tal Set, the same Turok from Dinosaur Hunter, sent him here. He also claims that he's a new campaigner and that Josh ignores him and takes the energy pylon. This means Tal Set was a Turok during the Civil War, even though he's supposed to be a Turok way before that, before the time of the white man. But it's a reboot. I'm grasping at straws. Josh is able to go through invisible portals that teleport him. He gets a black gemstone, the Folding Eye. It lets him see the portals and can control where he goes a bit easier. It's going to be brought up later. The home of the Flesh Eaters, a military cult of these things. The Turok 2 Seeds of Evil manual says they're responsible for 90% of all genocides. That's, something. But what's this? An unknown signature suggests that the Flesh Eaters might be under the influence of a threat more dangerous than the Primogen, and as old as reality itself? I wonder what that is. Maybe it's Oblivion. It is Oblivion. Our gang is relaxing. They won. They have the energy pylons, and the Primogen lost. What's that, Barry?
Release them. Release them. Take them to him.
Whoa, buddy. You good? Barry got possessed by the Primogen and steals the pylons, but Joshy can't kill his best friend, so he lets the Primogen take the pylons. All is lost. He has a Turok talk with the other Turoks. They're like, dude, just go to the Primogen and kill him. Oh, I didn't know I could do that.
Primogen, stop! You don't need to do this! You can get in my bag! Come on, get in there, little buddy. Smells like home, doesn't it?
Book 2 over. Book 3, Arena of Doom. Josh doesn't know how to get home. The new campaigner kidnaps Barry and Allison. Josh enters the arena and saves Barry, but doing so broke the rules. He has to give campaigner everything he has. The light burden, the Folding Eye, his pants. His sister, though, has been recruited into the campaigner's guard. They told her Barry died and Josh went to Earth. But the campaigner has a nice new bag, the same one Josh has. And are those Josh's pants? In the prisoner pits, Josh learns about the Gatekeeper, a being who can take people from the Lost Land and bring them to their original world. That might be useful later. All prisoners line up. You will be seated and watch a super cool fight. Is that Allison in the arena? She refuses to fight and declares a revolution. Fellow guards join her and fight the campaigner's troops. The prisoners revolt and Josh snatches the light burden. The campaigner makes a deal with Josh. A fight to the death. All prisoners will be let free forever. A fire has broken out. Columns come crumbling down. In the arena are 2 figures as smoke envelops them. The Turok and the campaigner. The 2 spar of swords. Josh reasons with him. He does not have to continue this. The arena is destroyed. There's no more to this. But it's a fitting end for the captain to go down with his ship. This is his life, all he knows. The Turok lineage has clashed with the campaigners for ages, a fitting end to die here. Josh stretches out his hand. Leave with him, a chance to begin again. The campaigner swings his sword onto Josh's wrist, stops before cutting his hand. Go, Joshua Fireseed. I order you to go. Save yourself, I belong here. This place is part of me, and I'm part of it. If it is doomed, then I will perish too. Go. The campaigner ordered you from his arena. His last glimpse of the battle complex was of the campaigner standing perfectly still, resigned to his fate. Josh saw a flash as a rolling wave of fire swept over the Earthling who fought his way to a throne as a gladiator in hostile Lost Land. The campaigner, the rules of the brutal arena, dies as he had lived, violently. He faces his demise willingly. The campaigner perished without uttering a single word of regret or cry of fear. Book 4, the final book, Path of Destruction. We meet the Gatekeeper, who can teleport people to wherever they want to go. As they step through the portal, he lets out a sickly laugh. Come on, that's normal. We all let out sickly laughs once in a while. Josh is sent to a futuristic Earth with robots and chrome. He meets Yannick Fireseed, Turok of the year 3033. He's gonna help Josh out. Yannick has appeared before in the comics, but only in a few scenes. Barry and Allison are sent to the 1800s. They meet Tao Set. He's gonna help them out. Oh wait, never mind. They got teleported to Nazi-occupied France. They meet Sergeant Turok. He's gonna help them out. Oh wait, never mind. They're teleported to medieval Europe. They meet Softwind. He's gonna help. Josh and Yannick uncover a robot conspiracy. They're killing humans, and they gotta put a stop to it. To do this, they will use the Turok power of portal teleportation to gather everyone and bring them to safety. I don't know. He gets knocked out and then believes in himself. Now he and Yannick are now masters of portals. Problem solved. Josh rescues Barry and Allison, gets justice on the Gatekeeper, and returns home. After finishing this section, I found a 5th book, written by Fabian Nicieza, who worked on the Acclaim Comics. This book was only published on the website. We have a forward talking about the book itself, how there's going to be some changes, like Allison's not in this, the Prodigy was killed, not bag sucked, and how the writer is primarily a comic writer, not a novel writer. Let's get into this. Gestation chamber, fetid fluid, stagnant pond or sour milk. The milk substance has reached his chest, her body's reacting to it. I think Barry and Josh are in the womb of an alien. Just my thought, and an awesome way to start this book. Gurgle from his throat and a trickle down his chin. So there are these aliens that pretty much are just living mountains. Another alien race, the Hijacks, hijack one of these mountains, and they're going to cause a lot of damage. Josh stops them, book over. That's it for the books, unless like a 6th one shows up. But no, that's it. Overall, not bad. It's a short, entertaining read. If you like the comics, give them a read. If you like Seeds of Evil, maybe only try reading the 2nd book. Turok Dinosaur Hunter is coming to the Game Boy Advance. It's FPS 2. Oh, it was cancelled, never mind. Turok Evolution. Who doesn't remember this? Or this? Turok Evolution is a prequel to the first game, and kind of a reboot too. You play as Tao Set in his first venture into the Lost Land. The story goes as simple. Tao Set and a Confederate soldier, Tobias Bruckner, are sent to the Lost Land. Tao Set becomes the first Turok and is tasked with saving the Lost Land from an army of lizard people known as the Slag. Tobias Bruckner sides with them. Go stop them, Turok. Slags. They kinda look like dinosaurs, right? Well, that's because they are. Kinda. Concept art shows that the Slags were called Dinosaurs, and Dinosaur is a type of slug in the manual, but they're actually cybernetic androids, kinda going back to the whole Turok 2 genetically engineered thing. The Slags aren't a kill-all-human thing. They're okay with enslaving and subjugating all other races as well. The Perlins, who look completely different, work for them. Bruckner is with them. I wonder what game also came out around this time, which also had an enemy army consisting of various races. I don't know. Evolution was a rushed mess. It starts strong and fizzles out right away. And the cutscenes don't help. We start with a 3-minute long opening of some images being panned around. Another long-ass cutscene where hundreds of slugs line up and ready their weapons. And then Tao Set just leaves. The worst one is when Tao Set meets the leader of the slug army, Tyrannus. He then lets him run off. Bruh, he's naked. Slowly turns around and fucks off. The redeeming thing about this game is that the level design is actually pretty good. Every level in this game is great. The problem is that most of it doesn't serve a purpose. The game starts off with these awesome open environments with platforming and a lot of verticality, then it turns into a corridor shooter. The army of slugs are marching to Galliana, the capital of the Lost Land. In this, it's just a city, it's not another name for the entirety of the Lost Land. So, half of the game is spent in the city. Oh wait, this giant mega city is not actually Galliana, it's a complete different city. This is just a pit stop. You don't actually get to visit Galliana. You do see it, but wow, so impressive. 1/3 of the game is spent in a city that isn't even the super important city. Like it has a purpose, but it's not like the big thing of the whole game. Like what? The game is bloated. These are nice levels, but they aren't like the beginning. These should have been reserved for Galliana, and Acclaim should have focused on the lead up to it. Like all these like city levels, they're in the middle of the game. They used all the cool assets. The climax happened, and the next 2/3 of the game are a very slow falling action, and it doesn't feel good. It's shitty pacing. But how does the gameplay compare? It's not looking too good. Turok Evolution does have a vast selection of weapons with a lot of neat concepts. Each weapon has a secondary attack like in Rage Wars. The flechette gun could turn into a minigun. The pistol turns into a sniper. By Evo giveth and Evo taketh. Evolution will remove your weapons from level to level. You'll keep some, but will randomly just take away some of your guns. You can find pistol ammo in some levels, but you don't have a pistol, and you can't get one either. They placed ammo in levels where the weapon doesn't exist. The rocket launcher has a nuke attachment. It's pretty cool, but you can only use it in this room, because once you leave it, it does not appear in any other part of the game. A lot of the weapons in the game are pointless. Evolution has massive auto assist. Look, you don't even need to aim near anyone. The pistol gets replaced by the tech bow, which also has a scope and it's more accurate. Then the normal bow outperforms the tech bow when you have aim assist on, because you don't need to aim in. The flamethrower is outperformed by everything. The plasma cannon uses too much ammo. The gravity disruptor is only good in very niche sections, like 2 parts of the entire game. Grenades have no range on them, and the spider mine is confusing to use. So we only have 3 real weapons that are good all around-ish. The shotgun is not that good, but they give you ammo for it, a lot of ammo. The flechette gun is pretty much an assault rifle, high damage, higher range, holds a lot of ammo, and the rocket launcher. Congrats Acclaim, you made a functioning rocket launcher, I'm proud of you. Enemies. You got slugs, a lot of them. Get ready to fight slug scouts and soldiers, they make up the majority of them. Slugs have different roles, different colors depending on what they do. I found out there's 1 slug soldier in the entire game that uses a flamethrower. Okay, that would be something, if it wasn't for the fact there's a different slug type that already uses a flamethrower, so this guy literally serves no purpose. There are also some weird ass slugs. These guys look like normal lizards. Most of them are good. Okay, neat. A bit spiky. What? Oh, bro, dude. And also, like, every slug wears clothing, except for the leader who's bare naked with spikes jutting from his back. Slugs suck, man. Evolution does bring back dinosaurs. We start with a Stegosaurus shitting itself. Amazing. Dinosaurs with rockets strapped to them, raptors, we even got plesiosaurs. Turok Evolution does have a lot of ambience. This is what it does right. Lush jungles with plenty of creatures. It's immersive, it's fun, and then they get rid of it. In the city, it's just slugs. Give me some rats. Turok 3 had a good industrial theme. Add some robots, add some humans. You got like 3 human allies who don't do shit. They get stuck in a fucking rock. It's just all slugs. This is Turok, add some variety. Notes, what else? Okay, yeah, Turok Evolution has flying sections. Love them or hate them, I like them. You fly around, it's kind of cool. They are pretty hard if you don't know the controls. The game doesn't tell you that you can slow down, so you're going to be going full speed at a wall and not realize you can turn. Some sections are bullshit, like this 90-degree turn. I was playing it with shitty composite cables and I couldn't see anything. It looked like this. I didn't even know there was a turn there. They aren't the worst, they're okay. And the final part of the discussion, the multiplayer. I like it. I used to play split screen with my brother, choose a guy and get to old-fashioned deathmatch, or CTF, or Oddball from Halo, but it's a monkey. The maps are neat, some are kinda ass, some are good. Overall, nothing too crazy, nothing too over the top. Palace of Lamia is good. Sands of Huan is a neat level, with a button that spawns artillery fire. Half the map names are just the developers' names but backwards. Ragnareb, Berenger, Nepets, Steven. 2 maps, I thought it was more. The map of the Lost Land has a bunch more. Speaking of which, this is the second map of the Lost Land. In the Turok comic, Spring Break in the Lost Land, we see another map. Cool. The biggest problem is that the maximum number of players is 4. There's no online play, and there was no system link. No system link? Crazy, what were you thinking? You can play this online through the Dolphin emulator with netplay. I have, it's extremely laggy. You can try Parsec, that's how I play, or the Turok 4 multiplayer mod by Pino, aka Perminal. It's a PC version, but with multiplayer. It's a work in progress, but if finished, this will be the definitive way to play Turok Evolution online. And apparently it was supposed to have Xbox Live, but that didn't happen. Turok Evolution. It's my favorite game, but why did all this segment was rag on it? That's because it's a flawed game, and I think a remaster will really elevate it to the game I think it could be. Also, a quick mention because I forgot about it until now. There are stealth sections of the game, which are borderline impossible to complete without being detected. The stealth is broken and enemies detect you through walls when they're not looking at you. You can when hiding grass. All versions of the game have this. Talset must be emitting glowing beams from his location. The PC port is broken, borderline unplayable. The PS2 port is horrid, playable-ish, not recommended, and the GameCube and Xbox ports. The Xbox has better audio and visuals, it has more content such as extra creatures, it has better lighting. The only problem is that it's 30 frames per second. If you want to play Evolution as it's intended, play the Xbox version. If you're a little baby and you only can play games at 60 FPS and higher, play the GameCube port. Here's a write-up from Reptile That's Cool that goes over the differences. Pause the screen if you want to read. Evolution had its Game Boy game as well. It played like Metal Slug, it's okay. There was a tie-in comic. River people get attacked by slugs, and they look more like their Dinosaur counterparts in the Turok 2 comics, bridging the connection between Slug and Dinosaur. But that's it for Turok Evolution. Let's go check out what else is in the series. Turok Evolution had a cancelled sequel, Turok Resurrection. Starts off with Talset killing the big, bad, evil Slug from the first game. Talset dies, gets resurrected, and fights the Soulless. A big part of this was to give Talset magic powers and shit. Quote, imagine Final Fantasy's combat effects, current game standards, how much it will cost, hooks. I mean, it's neat to look at. This is the only pitch we have. There is some concept art, but Acclaim went bankrupt, and all we could do is speculate how it would have turned out. 2004, Acclaim went bankrupt, and with that, their licensing rights with Western Publishing were void. Because remember, Western Publishing had always owned Turok, they just leased it out to people. A little bit weird to say that, it's been forever since we brought them up again, from Valiant to Acclaim, and that's pretty much everything Turok except for the very first Sun and Stone comic. You know who else was going through bankruptcy at this time? Western Publishing. They had also changed their name. They rebranded to Golden Books. Of course, it just had to get more confusing. When researching, I got to the step, I kept reading Golden Books this and that. What is Golden Books? They're mentioning the Turok novels. Oh, it's just Western Publishing under a new name. Thanks, really helpful. So 2 heroes, Classic Media and Random House, came together and jointly acquired Golden Books. This would be good if it didn't make it more confusing. So, jointly acquired. I don't know what parts of Golden Books went to each company. Old articles say that Classic Media got all the entertainment rights and Random House got the book publishing rights. Okay, would make sense, but why does Random House own the trademark? They switched it too, Classic Media used to own it and they handed it over? I couldn't find a reason for this. And Random House is credited under every single Turok game from this point forward, except for one of them, the only main Turok game after they claimed bankruptcy. Why? So listen, I'm sorry, but the ownership of Turok at this point on is murky. Classic Media and Random House are the definitive answers for who owns Turok, but I don't know which of Turok they respectively own. And to clear up any confusion here, Classic Media was purchased by DreamWorks, who in turn is owned by Universal, who's in turn owned by Comcast. Random House merged with Penguin and became Penguin Random House, who in turn is owned by the Bertelsmann Group. So, here we go. Turok is owned by these guys. We no longer need to worry about who owns Turok, I did the work for you. It's owned by mega corporations. Who would have guessed? Well, What do we do now? We make a movie. It's a retelling of the Sun and Stone comics. Here, let's take a look at the credits. Okay, never mind. Turok is young. Him and his brother are attacked by another tribe of Native Americans. Turok kills them and is banished for spilling blood. 16 years later, Turok's tribe is attacked. Turok's nephew, Andar, asks him for help. He says no, and everyone dies. The leader of the rival tribe, Chichak, who is named after a villain turned friend from the Valiant comics, Chichak steals Andar's mom and flees. Turok and Andar follow him through a cave, and out of it, they find themselves in a world of dinosaurs. They also rescue the mom and meet a group of humans like themselves. Chichak finds a group of cavemen and leads them to attack Turok and friends. Turok wins, he rides a T-Rex. There's a lot more to it, but that's kind of the summary. It's an hour-long watch, you can find it on YouTube. Neat retelling, it's kind of mid. If you like the Sun and Stone comics and some of the Valiant, check it out. No laser guns, no science fiction. I give it a 6 out of 10. There's also a planned live-action movie. Never mind. That's all we know about it. Heard about it, then nothing. The year is 2008, and a new Turok game has been released. It's just called Turok. Classic Media licensed Turok to Touchstone. Touchstone's just Disney masking themselves through another company because they don't want M-rated stuff next to the Disney logo. It's a complete reboot, takes place in the future of spaceship. No magic or extra dimensional stuff. It's a grounded-ish military shooter with dinosaurs. Joseph Turok was part of the military group Wolfpack. They were pretty much war criminals. He left them and eventually joined a whiskey company whose task was taking out Wolfpack's leader. Out of all the Turoks, this one feels like a cohesive experience. I mean, the other ones were based off the comics that were in turn just a random spew of randomness. Turok 2008 has celebrity voice actors, a dedicated online multiplayer, and I think a writing team that wasn't held down by, stuff like this. That helped it. Some hardcore Turok fans say 2008 ruined the series and killed off anything Turok, though that's cope. It's a good game, but let's take a look at what was released in 2008. Gears of War 2, GTA 4, Battlefield Bad Company, Dead Space, Saints Row 2, Far Cry 2, Left 4 Dead, and Call of Duty Red Dead War. You were a good game, but 2008 was a hard year to win out against the competition. Gameplay wise, it's a first person shooter, it doesn't really do anything unique with that. The defining feature is that there's dinosaurs. You're facing off against the average human mercenary, but then a raptor shows up and attacks them, and then attacks you, a third party to this epic conflict. Weapon wise, all pretty much generic guns from the time. SMG, sniper, rocket, some classic Turok guns, the bow, the flamethrower, the plasma gun, the knife which allows you to do some cool executions, and then there's a sticky gun from Halo 4. That's cool. Wide variety of dinosaurs. It has more dinosaurs than all the Turoks before it. Turok Evolution may have more, but I'm not going to count to confirm. Story-wise, you crash land on a mysterious planet and there's dinosaurs. Oh no, you gotta survive and escape. Whiskey Company dies out and there's only 3 of you left at the end. There's a bond between Turok and Slade, who start off not liking each other, but grow closer over time. That was part of the storyboard. Multiplayer-wise, it's okay. Deathmatch, capture the flag, okay. There's a weekly group who plays, so you can still find matches. And the maps? Oh, they're okay, nothing special. The real cool part of multiplayer are the co-op maps. They play like the campaign. You're a small team of Whiskey Company members, and you fight in PvE combat. You have a total number of lives that you share. Co-op is actually pretty difficult, but really fun if you have a competent team. The ending of the first map is the best. You're on a cliffside, holding out against waves of dinosaurs, waiting for the chopper to come and pick you up. It was so fun, man. And there is DLC. It's lost. Technically not. It was delisted a few years ago. You can find it online and play on a modded Xbox 360. You might be able to emulate it on PC. I don't know. Add extra multiplayer maps and a new co-op map. And well, that's it for Turok 2008. It's different, but I do recommend that you try it because it's not a bad game. Turok 2, the sequel to Turok 2008. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. It's cancelled. There's concept art. The story would have been you returning to the dinosaur planet for whatever reason, and you're fighting dinosaurs and the people who did live there. Like the mercenaries and stuff went savage and you gotta fight them too, I guess. Remember Java phones? Yeah, there's a Turok game for them. It's a retelling of Turok 2008, but as a 2D side-scroller. Do you like the music? It's the only track in the game and it just keeps looping forever. Though, it's a little neat they changed the ending. You kill the big bad guy by making him back up into a pit of lava, and the infamous T-Rex boss battle. Wow, neato, game over. Turok is an unofficial fan game for the PSP. I'm only including it because it's neat. Released 2009, you play as Turok's brother, Turok, who bought his tech bow off eBay. It plays like GoldenEye, and you fight the helicopter from Half-Life. That's it. 2010, Classic Media licensed Turok to Dark Horse Comics. They're gonna make a new run of comics rebooting the series. They're also re-releasing the original Sun and Stone comics so you can read them and not go hunting for 60-year-old booklets. The new run of comics is called Turok Sun and Stone. It's the same name as the original. It was only 4 issues long. It was a retelling of the original series. A village is burning, and Andor's on an altar. He's about to be sacrificed. An arrow flies out and kills the priest. He flees and encounters Turok, the sender of the arrow. This is their first time meeting, and Turok takes Andor under his wing. At the altar, the warlord and voice of the gods Maxla is told by a priest that an escaped sacrifice is a bad omen. They gotta recapture them. Turok and Andor hide in a cave, though the warring army followed them, and as they're about to come down on the duo, a storm appears, a swirling vortex in the sky, and they all get sucked into it. Here, they're in a new world, one of dinosaurs, but it doesn't matter. Turok and Andor are still being chased by Maxla's army, and that's where the first issue ends. It also has the first comic from the 50 Sun and Stone in it, so that's pretty cool. Issue 2, Turok and Andor meet the Panther people, led by a goddess. She speaks Norwegian, and since Turok once met a Viking, they can communicate with each other. She's a person from modern times and convinced the Panther people she is a goddess. Meanwhile, Maxla finds Aztlan, a city that vanished 300 years ago. He fulfills the prophecy and becomes their leader. What's that? A scout says the Panther people have their escaped sacrifice? Okay, dude with the laser gun, let's go get them. The third issue, Goddess Girl and Andor got kidnapped and brought to the Aztec city. They're gonna get sacrificed. But after fighting Turok and the guy with the laser gun, he's from the future by the way, they team up. Mr. Laserman brings Turok to his spaceship that is super low on fuel and only has enough for one last flight. They fly in and kill everyone, Maxla is dead, Laser Dude dies, and Turok, Andor, and Goddess Girl survive. Turok and Andor leave because they're gonna find their way back through a cave and return home. Far, far, far from the end. If only this wasn't the final issue of the comic. I thought this was a neat idea. I liked it more than the original. Short, sweet, neat, creep. 2018, Universal and Unity are hosting a competition for indie developers to make games off of some of Universal's properties. One of them was Turok. Pillow Pig Games won, and they released their Turok Escape from Lost Valley game a year later. The game is currently delisted due to their contract expiring. You cannot buy it. You can only play it with means of sorts. It releases to mixed reception. The main thing I remember is that it sucks. It's not Turok. Get this dumb anime cutesy shit out of here. Escape from Lost Valley ruined Turok. It shit on the established story and permanently killed the series. It's an unplayable mess. It doesn't work. These devs could have revived Turok and they ruined it. So I played it. And, well, it's a good game. Now, it released for $15. That's a bit pricey. I'd price it at $5. Most of the negative reviews on this game are from crybabies who are upset that Lost Valley is different from the Acclaim games. We saw the same reaction of Turok 08, Turok Evolution, and now Turok Origins. Ironically, Lost Valley is the most faithful game to the original Sun and Stone comic. It's the only game that has Andor in it. You play as Turok. You can slash your knife around, you can shoot your bow, that's about it. You restore your health at Bond camps. You can dodge, you need to learn the attacks of the bosses. It's a simple game. It's very linear with a little explore off the path upgrades. Every enemy is easy to defeat. You can spam your melee and stun everything. I've seen some reviews say the enemies are too hard. Every boss is fun to fight. I like learning their moves. I did learn that the water honker hits twice and then he'll fucking roll and I can jump over it. The spider boss shoots his sticky webs at you and I have to put out as much damage as I can before, I get stuck and he jumps on me. The flying honker. After a few deaths, I realized his shadow shows the spaces he's gonna hit. The only boss I really struggled on, and cheated to say, was the final boss. The deathless killer honker is kind of bullshit. It's a T-Rex who is invulnerable until he gets wet from the geysers. I don't know how to get him to walk into the geysers or how to get them to spurt all over him. And then he hops around doing AoE attacks, and then they're just impossible. They're impossible to dodge. I looked up a speedrun on how the pros do it. You just walk underneath them while he's hopping. Weird. It works. I had to perfectly line up on the spaces so he wouldn't stop hopping. You can walk around and find hidden bones that you can turn in and get bone armor. You can bone stuff. Or get the poisonous berries that increase the damage of your arrows. My favorite is this cave. These little mongrels instantly kill you. So I thought maybe I had to dodge through them all. Didn't work. Maybe if I had a torch I could see. This piece of flint will light my arrows aflame. And a medicinal herb, which if you lose all your health, you get some back before you die. The controls are kind of weird because it's an isometric perspective. You can attack in 8 directions. Your keyboard only has 4. And the map's on a diagonal anyway. I plugged in a controller and everything was fine. It's how the game is meant to be played, or at least it plays like it. Overall, Escape from Lost Valley is not a bad game. I recommend it if you're a Turok fan. It kind of reminded me of Dark Souls. It sucks that it received a lot of hate. I remember a while back I was working on a Turok video, never published it, but I ragged on Lost Valley because that's what the community opinion was. Now, I actually went and played it now and formed my own opinion. Lost Valley is a solid game. Okay, in 2014, Dynamite Comics is making a run at comics. They will be the last group to write comics for Turok, unless you know a new series of comics come out at the time of writing. Technically, Dynamite made 3 runs. 2014, they made 12 comics. 2017, they made 5 more. And in 2019, they made another 5. The 2014 publication that had 12 comics, a little weird. It changed up a lot of stuff, but it was okay. No lost land, no magic. It starts off as Turok in the pre-Age of Discovery Manhattan, so like the 1400s. Him and Andor are rivals, and then a pack of raptors attack. Where did they come from? Medieval knights have arrived on the shore, and they brought dinosaurs with them. And that's kind of the gimmick. The entire world already had dinosaurs, except for America, and the old world has tamed, lived with, and pretty much had dinosaurs as a part of life. Turok goes to England and becomes Robin Hood with a band of merry men. And that's pretty much it for the series. Let's check out the 2017 run. 2017, we have Turok Blood Hunt. It's a 5-part series, and it's pretty okay. Return to form, we have the Lost Land, and have stuff from all over time. Not really any sci-fi stuff though, and we also have dinosaur people again who are Nazis. Actually, they are like a one-for-one copy. Turok was just some random dude who got sucked into the Lost Valley from a time vortex along with his daughter. She got kidnapped and he took the name Turok. He looks around for her, eventually teams up with the Rebel Alliance and blows up the entire city where the Emperor of the dinosaurs are, killing him and himself in the process. Also turns out his daughter was dead all along. He just had PTSD or amnesia or something blocking that memory out. 2019, the final comic run to date. Turok and Andor are brothers, and while fleeing from the United States cavalry, they enter a time portal sending them to the Lost Land. They find a pyramid, and in it is a stone that can alter time. Turok touches it, and every Turok from every previous comic appears. Then Turok sends everyone back home, and Turok and Andor are ready to settle down on the Lost Land. Sure, I thought it would have been cool to explore the multiple Turok dynamic, kind of like how Josh did it in the Acclaim series, but no, that's too cool for this. The Dynamite comics are pretty short, they don't connect with each other at all, unless you want to count the final one. I mean, it's neat, though I think the other comics before it surpass them. Night Dive Studios remastered the original trilogy of Turok games. This is how you want to play them. I already talked about the game, so there's not much to discuss. You can play on modern systems, they have mod support, you can tweak the settings however you want. The only thing of note is that the Turok 3 remaster had its multiplayer removed, and that sucks. And finally, Turok Origins. It's not out, so I can't speak on it, except for what little we know. It's being made by Saber Entertainment, who want to give the Space Marine 2 treatment to Turok. What this means, it's a third-person co-op hack and slash with a skill tree. They did reveal a first-person mode. There will be a class-based progression with skill trees, the Way of the Raven, the Bison, the Cougar. I found them saying that Origins is a prequel to the original games.
Het is een prequel op de trilogie.
Trilogie, heb je ook Claire Obscure gespeeld?
Ja, dit is een prequel op de originele trilogie. Het speelt zich af dus voor de originele Turok games.
I really don't know how they're gonna do that. And let's Turok. This part's not scripted, so I'm gonna be like, rambling, repeating myself. But that was kind of awesome. The video's over. Get out, stop watching right now, man. Stop watching. But Seriously. No, it's a little bit insane that the video's finished now. I've been working on this project for a while. It's the most ambitious and largest project I did. I know I'm gonna watch it. No, you'll watch it. But like, God, this video's not really anything special. There's like a million other videos like it. But for me, especially, you know, if you guys look at my video I made before this, it's kind of shit. And then compared to this one, you know, it's like 10 times improvement. A little bit crazy. My hard drive died. No, I was so lucky. Like, my hard drive died. I lost almost everything. But like the day it like broke, I'm like, I'm gonna go back up my all my finished like progress. Like again, because now of course I've been backing it up, making sure. But I'm like, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna take it off this hard drive, put it onto an SSD, and then the day after my hard drive died, I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy. Awesome. Like they did that set me back. It sent me back like a few days. But I'd rather get sent back a few days than like, a month. Oh, well, that's crazy. Turok Origins comes out later this year. I might do a video on it. 2 months I probably am going to do a video on it. I like Turok. Now I made this video. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. I'll probably make more videos. This is an hour long. It's the longest video I ever made. Every video I make after this will just come by like really quick. Yeah. Subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Like I'm a junkie. I'm a number junkie. I need those numbers to go up. It's my heroin. No, that's it. Take care. Have a good one. Goodbye.